Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is teaching me a valuable lesson about hope. Namely that you should never have it, and if you ever feel its slimy, conniving tentacles begin to wrap themselves around your ankles, you should stomp it out with fury and determination until you feel its little spine snap beneath your heels. As the first gameplay has been revealed. Oh, to be fair, alpha, what was it? Post-alpha, so the game is feature complete, but it's still relatively early on in game development, so, polish, etc. can still happen. But I've got some serious issues with several elements of the game. One is that the narrative scenes, the conversation scenes, they don't look very good at all. The facial animations are basic at best, and it feels like they tried pretty hard to get good facial animations, but then in the middle of it they realized, oh, we're not good enough to do this. Oh well, just carry on anyways. So we have, you see their faces kind of pop, occasionally bounce into so it's switching between one animation pose to the other instantly. Not great. They're very stiff as well. The voice acting too does not fit in the slightest with the actual, characters' faces. And the RPG part so far have looked incredibly disappointing. Now, the idea of playing an Elder, that idea appeals to me. There's a certain, power trip fetish fantasy there, isn't it? To be the Elder vampire let loose in the city, a big reputation and abilities to back it up, that could be cool. But I kind of wanted to make, my Elder instead. Now, apparently, you are going to be given a pre-made character, which you can customize to a degree, a limited degree, in that you can customize their clothing. Fantastic. And apparently their clan, which is something, but their appearance might be set in stone, which is also rather disappointing, as your several hundred-year-old vampire female in particular, well, she looked like she was just vomited forth from the last 5-odd years or so of problematic zoomerism. Not a great look, frankly. You'll also have a little person in your head, apparently, telling you all about the modern-day nonsense things, which, see, that can lead to some fish out of water fun, I suppose, and it's a decent way to introduce you to the players, the movers, and the shakers of the world. I mean, like, oh yeah, this person is that person, this person is that person, and they connect with that person. Okay, I get it. Basically a vampire PDF in your brain, but being unable to actually customize your character's appearance, customize their personality, whether or not you are a conniving bastard or a violent sort or something, that's very disappointing. Being unable to customize your powers, your heritage, your background, that too is very disappointing as well. There's also the role-playing aspect. So you see a scene shown in the early phases here, where you have 3 choices that all essentially amount to the exact same thing. You're having a conversation with the character trying to get an audience with the prince. Option 1 is tell her everything about your super secret and incredibly touchy, I mind you, backstory. Telling somebody you don't know or trust that you are an elder vampire is goddamn dangerous. Because to another vampire, you're basically putting up a giant sign, you're like, ding, hi, I know nothing about what's going on, I have a loss of power that you can get by diablerizing me. Eat me with ketchup, please. Bad idea. The option 2 is tell her everything, but with a visual aid of the marker, which incidentally apparently saps your powers, which is, hey, eat my ass with ketchup, oh, and by the way, I'm weakened as well, look, it's the mark of the bitch. Okay, or option 3, tell her everything, but sassy-like. At least there should be an option to just lie. Like, oh, why do you need to see the prince? Well, you see, I have important business concerning fruit deliveries into Lower Manhattan. Shut not fucking hell, something, lie, make some shit up to try and get on with it. Or you could use your vampiric powers to be like, you don't care, I just send me to the prince, whatever. Or you could simply just assert your actual dominance and go, okay, lady, you want me to tell you your secrets, and I'm here to tell you that you either give me an audience or I'm going to demolish your face with my penis. Okay? Good. Moving on. And sure, add in roll checks for it, add in little markers, like this will be a difficult roll, whatever, but there needs to be more options than bare your soul and heart to a vampire you've known for all of 5 minutes. That is a very, very, very big deal, and it might be that I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Perhaps this is just like one conversation in the entire game that's like this, but it's unlikely. When you see lazy writing in one place, odds are you're going to be seeing a lot of lazy writing in the other places of the video game as well. Particularly when we already don't really have the ability to determine our character, right? When we don't really have the ability to customize their behavior, their opportunities, their behavioral patterns, their abilities, their strengths and their weaknesses, and their history. Now, to a degree, I get that this needs to be like that you're just like a generalized badass, right? They describe it as the gunslinger walking into town, and now all of the people in the town looking at you like, oh my, you're the big bad wolf or something. Okay, fair enough. But at least let me determine what kind of wolf. Am I a butcher? Am I a devious conman? And am I a scheming planner? Stuff like that. And apparently you can build your reputation a little bit later on, but even they undermine this, the developers do, by saying that apparently it doesn't need to be true anything, because you don't actually have an idea about your own backstory. They keep mentioning the unreliable narrator, which is code word for, well, we couldn't come up with anything good, or we couldn't be bothered implementing it, so, nobody knows. It could all be true. It could none of it be true. No. You are the creators of the video game. You are the masters of this universe. You are the masters of these characters. Make something up. It can be crazy. It can be absurd. It can be dumb. Just make something up. You, as the creator of the setting, must know the answers to the mystery, even if you never plan to tell anybody the answer to that mystery. In fact, most of the time, you probably shouldn't. And to kind of return a bit back to the RPG element as well, there's a second conversation turned up as well that also has 3 options, all which seemingly lead to pretty much the same conclusion. Either push his buttons, 2, push his buttons but gently, or 3, presume what he's doing. So make him tell you, or figure out what he's doing. Again, no vampiric powers, no ability to influence him, no ability to use violence or attacking him or punching him or anything like that, the kind of stuff that a vampire might do in such a situation. You're still relegated to 3 choices that amount to pretty much the same thing. Now, obviously, we can't know exactly how divergent the game is when you're playing it. Is there freedom of movement? Can you choose different things? Will choosing different things have radically different consequences? Can you turn the story around? Is it branching? Is it all just one linear thing? And even if it is linear, that doesn't necessarily need to be the worst thing either, because I'm spending a lot of time harping on about the game's limitations, English, in terms of role-playing options. That can work as well. If you've got a tight enough story and a good enough experience surrounding that story, you could still potentially make a good video game experience out of it, but it better be a really goddamn good one, particularly if you're trying to sell the game as an RPG rather than as, well, a shooter, essentially. Because in a shooter, having an on-the-rails story isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. In fact, it can be very advantageous, in fact. But in an RPG, if you only have one role to play, that had better be a goddamn fantastic role. And I remind you, in the original Vampire, the clan you picked had massive consequences for the game you played. And Malkavian played almost completely different from a Ventru or a Nosferatu. And in this game, that doesn't seem to be the case at all. It could still be they've got a great narrative experience lined up for us. I hope they do. But I am very, 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 very skeptical. And what they've shown so far has only furthered that skepticism. I guess it wasn't. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2? Could it ever follow up to the original? Probably not. Should we still hold out an inkling of hope? My naivete says yes. I'm sure I'll be bitten rather ferociously for that in the future. But until then, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.